Welcome to Seasons of Life, a biblical perspective for how to navigate life's ups and downs. Do you feel overwhelmed? Or do you feel successful? Experiencing loss? This weekly 15-minute word of inspiration will motivate you to live with more wisdom and peace. Here is your host, Pastor Mercy Oduah.
Hello, I welcome you once again to Seasons of Life. Seasons of Life episode is a biblical perspective for handling your life challenges. I want you to know that seasons of life are regular occurrences of life, the good and the not so good. And I'm here to empower you with spiritual support and guidance as you go through the challenging seasons of your life. I am sharing from my seasons of life experiences, hoping they will benefit you as you go through the ups and downs of life. If you are watching for the first time, kindly share and subscribe so that we can become a community of support. That is what the world needs today, support. So today, episode 38, will look at part 2 of repositioning. Part 2 of repositioning. And guess what? My lovely daughter is with me today because she is a true testament of repositioning. I want you to know that her repositioning baffled me. So she is here to talk about repositioning, and I will let her introduce herself.
Thanks, Mom. Hello, Seasons of Life community. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here with you all. My name is Chika, and as my mom said, I have my own story, my own experience of what it means to be repositioned in life. I am a journalist, and being a journalist has led me to be repositioned numerous times in different places. And so I'll speak more on that later, but thank you so much. It's an honor to be with you all.
Yes, it's our pleasure. It is our pleasure to have you, and I'm sure that the listeners will pick up something important in your testament, in your testimony today. All right. So, last week, episode 38, we examined repositioning or relocation and how God sometimes uses repositioning to bless us. We also used two biblical examples of repositioning: the repositioning of Abraham and the repositioning of Ruth. We examined and we found out that it led to their blessings. Their story is in the Bible because of the blessings they received from repositioning themselves. So we can see that repositioning is actually for blessing. I want to give you this quote from a popular Ghanaian pastor, and his name is Mensa Otabil. And what did he say? According to Mensa Otabil, he says that your true value is not determined by how much you started life with, but how you can reposition yourself in life. Your true value is not determined by how much you started life with, but how you can reposition yourself. And I think that is your experience, because her testimony, my daughter's testimony, is powerful as far as the benefit of repositioning. And also in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11, it says, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor the bread to the wise, nor riches to men of understanding, nor favor to men of skill, but time and chance happened to them all. Time and chance happened to them all. In other words, Solomon is telling us that it is not about how strong you are. It is not about how favored you are, but it is about repositioning, taking advantage of the opportunity and repositioning yourself timely. That was what Ecclesiastic is telling you. And also, I want you to know that in life, no matter how you try to avoid it, you must find yourself relocating, transferring, or repositioning. And I want you to embrace it because it is a hidden blessing. So right now, I am going to allow my daughter to share her experiences with her own repositioning. And I will start by asking her the questions because I want to know why, when, and the benefit of repositioning. And I'm sure you are anxious to hear her story too. So, Miss Chika, the first question that I would like you to answer for us is when? When did your repositioning occur? When did you first hear the call to reposition?
Wow, thank you so much. I like the introductory verse that you use, Ecclesiastes 9:11, and the last part of that verse really spoke to me, which says that time and chance happen to them all. Because yes, there's time and chance, and those are two different concepts. And I want to perhaps expand on that, especially as it applies to me. There's time and chance and preparation. And I mentioned to you all, I'm a journalist. And one of my inspirations is another journalist named Zane Asher. And she mentioned in her professional career that her mother gave her advice that while you're waiting for the right chance, waiting for the right time to kick in, you must be prepared. So preparation is really the meat of everything because things can happen and someone can say to you, it's your turn to go, but are you prepared to go? So, in your first question about when did this call happen? When did this call to reposition myself happen? It's an interesting question. I would say that I think that from the beginning of my life, I have been repositioned. I have been in the process. For example, I was born in Nigeria. And I wasn't raised in Nigeria. I moved to the United States at the age of about 2, right?
Mhm.
So my mom, we went to the United States. That was my first repositioning experience. So it started there. That was not even my choice, but the hand of God was at work. So I would say I have been experiencing repositioning since the very beginning, without even my own knowledge and my own, approval. I just followed my mom, went to the United States, and that's where it began. So I think from an early age, I was used to movement, migration, not sitting still. Growing up in life, we moved around a lot. I went to different schools from primary school. I went to 4 different primary schools. I went to 3 different high schools, what some people call secondary schools. So all my life, I've been used to just kind of going here, going here, going here. But the big repositioning for me was when God said, it is time to get up, leave the United States, and go to Africa. Go back to the continent where you were born. And when I got that call, I was about 24, 24, 25. For me, it was not a surprise because I had always had that desire. That was always my plan since I was a child. Since I was about 8 or 9, I had always been thinking about moving to Africa. I wasn't sure which country in Africa, but I was sure I'm going to go to Africa. So that had already been in my spirit since childhood. And that dream, those aspirations had been nurturing over time. I had been cultivating that desire, and God had been working on that desire. So this is the preparation work I'm talking about. I had been prepared for that move. So from the time I was a child to when God said, okay, it's time to go, you're prepared, there was a lot of preparation work happening in between. For example, I was doing a lot of writing, a lot of reading about Africa, reading books written by African authors about what's happening, African history, African current affairs, politics, the different countries, the different regions in Africa. So I would say I was very much prepared. I was very much involved with different African immigrant communities in the United States. So years of preparation happened before God finally said, okay, you are prepared. Obviously, education was there too. I got my bachelor's degree and then my master's degree in the United States. And after getting that master's degree and working as a journalist in America for a few years, God said, okay, it's time to go. So I was 24, 25 when I got the call to be repositioned to another continent.
Okay, that's powerful. So now we have a clue as to when she got the call, and her own is direct. She said that she got the call from the Lord, and that is good. But even before she got the call from the Lord, is already in her spirit. So God knows, God put it there. But just God now speaking to her confirm what she already knew. So the next question, because of time, is why? Why will you leave the comfort of the United States? Why will you leave that comfort to go back to Africa while many people in Africa wants to come over here? And this question, many people asked me about this question. Oh, your daughter moved to Africa. Why? So she's here to tell us briefly why she had to move to Africa as a journalist.
Yeah. That's not an easy question to answer. And just like you, I get that question often. There's God's answer and then there's my answer. I don't have the mind of God, so I cannot answer God's perspective. But from my own perspective, I would just say that it was a burning desire. I don't know where it came from, but my spirit has always been oriented towards Africa. And I truly am Afrocentric in terms of my perspective on life, my orientation on life has always been in that direction. Uh, that's where I knew I was going to thrive. And being raised in the United States was supposed to be my learning ground, just a place for me to kind of acquire information, educate myself, but where I'm supposed to actually manifest my destiny and who I am was in Africa. So that was already it for me. And obviously, another response for that is Africa is in a place of need as a continent. It is in a place of need. It is a developing region of the world. Some people use the word third world, which is an outdated term, but Africa is a growing region. It needs people who have the passion to come and be part of that development story. The West, America is already pretty much developed. So is Europe. Well, Europe is part of the West, but Africa is still in that transition period. And I knew I wanted to be part of that development story, part of that transition. So that's really why I felt I need to go over there.
That is great. So you heard her. It's all about passion, passion for what you believe in and the willingness to go and be a part of what God is doing. So God did not make any mistake as far as she is concerned. Then the last question will be the benefit, because we see that when God moved Abraham, Abraham became rich and famous. In the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verses 1 to 2, God instructed Abraham to get out and move away from a familiar place, from family, from friends, to a place, to an unknown place. And God said, because there I will bless you. So, my question to our guest today is, have you experienced the blessings of God in your transition? What can you share with us? How has it helped you? How has your reposition developed you? Can you help us and give us some few instances?
Okay, have I been blessed? Have I reaped the benefits of being repositioned? 150% yes. Yes, yes, yes. No regrets, no doubts. And that's the beauty of following God's instruction. When you're in the right place, you are going to thrive. You really will. All of the nutrients that you need to grow in that new place that you've been planted in will come. The sunshine, the rain, the nutrients, they're going to be there. So I've experienced many blessings. I've received bountiful harvest from this movement to actually go from America to Africa. And as I said earlier, I wasn't raised, in Africa at all, no country there. So it was an unfamiliar space, but there was still some familiarity there. However, I did the work, I blended myself, I blended myself with the people and the cultures of wherever I find myself. And I just went with this spirit of humility. And I believe I'm reaping the benefits, certainly in terms of the people I've met so many people who've helped me in this process of trying to, relocate and settling in a new space. I've met beautiful people. I really have. And I have the pleasure of saying that I know people in different countries in Africa who I can always call, and they're always willing to say, hey, come on over. We'll take care of you. So I have a community of friends and well wishers who are blessing me. I have that. And I think once you have that community, you are good to go. Community is better than anything, better than money even, as long as you have supporters. And I do have supporters. And so I really do feel blessed, honestly. I feel blessed. And of course, my career has also blossomed with this transition too.
Yes, 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 she is very much right. And we can really see the hand of God in her repositioning. The hand of God is on her life and on her career as far as this repositioning is concerned. So the last question is, could you have been could you have achieved the same blessing in your original place? Because sometimes when you talk to people, they will say, well, it doesn't have to take all that. God can bless me right here. Like, I always wonder before, why will God ask Abraham to leave everything familiar, including his family, to another place so that he will bless him? Why didn't God bless him in his father's compound? So I ask you the same question. Could you have achieved the same blessings in your original place? That is in America, where you were raised and went to school.
Well, it is difficult to think hypothetically, but if I'm being asked to do so, I would say no. I would say no. Because I know the calling that I had. I know the passions that I've been nurturing since I was a child. I have long been Africa focused. So if I'm Africa focused and those skills and those dreams and those desires are there and those aspirations, I need to go there. So I think when you start to manage and compromise what's in you, your life's calling is going to be compromised. Your happiness is going to be compromised. Your sense of fulfillment is going to be compromised. So I like to tell people to go all the way. Don't shortchange your glory, or else you're going to shortchange your story. You have to go all the way, full throttle, 100%. Don't be afraid, and you will reap those benefits.
Thank you so much for your testimony. So, in closing, we have heard now the repositioning testimony of my daughter, Miss Chika Oduah, and I hope that it will inspire you to move. If you feel the same urge, get that inspiration and move. The next episode 39 will examine the problems that come with repositioning and the solution as well. And she will be back now to share with us the problems that she encountered, because it's not all rosy, rosy, rosy. So we want to give you the other side of it, the problem and the solution. So as I leave you, I want you to meditate on that book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11, that tells you that time and chance is what you need. Opportunity, repositioning. So may the Lord bless you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you. And may the Lord give you the grace to reposition yourself if you feel the urge. If you have any comment or question, you can just leave it on our comment section. And I once again appreciate you for coming to share your testimony. I'm talking with her all the way from Africa. Shalom, and see you next week.
Thank you for watching this episode of Seasons of Life. Until next time, be well, and may God bless you.